Hey, what's up? Let me address these people right away. This is Carcino. For those who don't know, Carcino for Life is the name. Let's speak on it really fast. We've all seen how things could play out and turn to the worst. We've seen that. Everybody turn their head and look around and say, hey man, I saw that show. And for this situation and the way it's playing out, we've seen that show. Stephen A. Smith. Oh, what's up, YouTube Premiere? Well, I'll see y'all in the comment section coming in very slowly, but I see you. Nah, we gonna get to it. I'm giving you a little bit of time. But we will be addressing Stephen A. Smith and mostly, what's his name, Peter Rosenberg. Now, Peter Rosenberg is a kiss-up. You know, he's always going to find a narrative. He doesn't really have an opinion. He's just a suck-up. That's his job, is to get paid for doing nothing, for the least amount of work. That's Peter Rosenberg. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when you see him, you know that's what he does. He's really a fanboy. And because he's a fanboy, his opinions and thoughts on these subjects don't really matter to me too much. But I just wanted to address him in it too, because he's a Jay-Z apologist. So, you know, he was going to look for something to apologize for Jay for in this situation of don't blame Jay. Now, Stephen A. Smith he's on the other side. He represents the sports side. He represents the Colin Kaepernick side. That's why we're here, to get both of them. And the reason why is this man went out and did his show and was livid at people talking down to Jay-Z. Right? Hova. Everybody who was upset about this deal shouldn't be upset. We passed kneeling. It's time for the next step. And Jay-Z's just taking the next step. I don't know what black people are upset about. So what? Colin Kaepernick thing wasn't to play again? Colin Kaepernick, he was trying to draw attention. That's what he was trying to do. That's why he took the knee. Because he wanted to draw attention to police brutality. Did he not? He drew the attention. Now it's time for the next step. And Jay-Z took that step. Here's the problem I have with that, Mr. Stephen A. and Mr. Smith. And I want you to listen to Mr. Rosenberg. This is the problem with that scenario. The problem is, Steve, is that when this was happening for 2 straight years, 3 now, you have sat back and preached on how Colin Kaepernick should be playing. You have preached how wrong it was. How was it an injustice that Colin Kaepernick is not allowed to play football? Now, since Jay-Z comes out and makes this statement and give you that little thing he's saying about we're moving forward, this wasn't about Colin getting a job. And because he said that stupid remark, now everybody's like, well, it wasn't about him playing football. Stupid sheep. What are you talking about? You sat there for 3 years talking about how he should be playing. You fell out with Colin Kaepernick because he came out and publicly said he didn't vote in the election in 2016, and you were mad. You were mad. Oh, Colin Kaepernick said he doesn't vote. How can you come out and say you don't vote? You were mad about it. You believe that? You mad because another man says what he doesn't do. That man said he doesn't vote. He doesn't vote. That had nothing to do with anything. Then you had a little grudge with him because of that. I don't even want to talk to him no more. Yeah, I think he should be playing. Now, it ain't about him having a job. How did you get there? When did you arrive at that point? That it wasn't about Cap getting a job back in the NFL. Y'all bashed Ray Lewis, bashed Ray into the ground because he didn't agree with the process and thought, hey, Ozzie Newman and all those guys there, they was like, Ray, you can get him a job. Where was everybody saying that Colin Kaepernick shouldn't have a job? It ain't about Colin getting a job in the NFL. No apologists for Ray Lewis then. They talking about taking down Ray's statue. You guys talk the talk, but when it was time to walk the walk, you didn't. Then Jay-Z opens his mouth and it's like a magical spell that goes over you sheep. You come out here and start spewing his nonsense right through your gums. And the people who are already smart and awake look at you like, huh? Are you really just going to tell me word for word what he just said? And take it as fact? And taking it to the bank? We're moving on to the next step. What? The Super Bowl halftime show is the next step? Wow. Jay-Z's going to be a part owner. Now he can hire Cap. Says who? Let's say Jay-Z is a part owner. He hires Cap to the job. Does that mean that it is over? Does this mean that social injustice ends? All you stupid people must wake up. Okay? I told you, over $700,000 a year goes towards the NFL Players Association. Over $700,000 of the money of the athletes go to for all the funds and everything, and none of that money goes out to social injustice and social issues or anything of that nature. Breast cancer awareness, the American Heart Association, all of these other people get checks from the league and promotion from the league. They just want some attention towards social injustice with police and definitely the community and definitely unarmed blacks and Hispanics. The way they're treated are different. And the way that we're seeing them being treated is different. So we need to address that a little bit better and definitely come to a resolution with change. Now, the body cam idea was my idea. I won't say the whole thing was my idea, but when we were having these problems with Trayvon Martin situation, with Zimmerman and these other cops were with the Brown situation, and it starts going out with these young kids being harmed, I was asking for more cameras. Body cam. It should be throughout the United States of America. Every police department should have body cam. That was my solution, because it was one town that it was in effect that had it, and their crime level dropped tremendously with police officers and civilians. Police crimes and lawsuits dropped dramatically. Now, they didn't do it because it was a pour of outrage by the community. They did it because of the lawsuits. See, once you start bleeding the town out in lawsuits, and people are saying, look, I got it on tape, and you losing out all this money, something's going to have to go. So in the end, it's about that pocketbook. But we'll take a win when we can get it. Now, as Stephen A. didn't point out, Jay-Z made it off the strength of Colin Kaepernick's back. He wore a cap hat last year promoting Kaepernick as his motivation and his movement, as to say, Cap is with me. Now, he was in contact with Kaepernick all during last year when he didn't do the Super Bowl thing and all these activities, right? He was in contact with Kaepernick. They've had conversations, personal conversations, numerous times last year. This deal has been getting worked on since last year's Super Bowl was over. They've been trying to work out a deal with Roc Nation since then. Not one time did he mention to Cap about this deal that he was trying to work out with the NFL. And you were talking to him that you're using his movement for your personal gain. Not once did Stephen A. Smith bring this up. No. Not once did he bring up the fact that even when this was over and all this controversy went on, did he go and contact Colin Kaepernick to say, I'm sorry, or we're going to sit down and have a conversation? Did he go to Eric Reed, who also put himself on the line, and say, Eric Reed, we need to go have a conversation so that you can understand what I did. I wasn't as close with you, but you were involved too. Let me go ahead and tell you what I did. I went on Saturday Night Live supporting Cap once it was popular. Jay was always building towards this. You know, when you see people who are not known for doing certain things, of charitable things like Charlemagne the God, when you see people like Charlemagne doing charity events, giving out hats, talking political and social change, you gotta scratch your head and say, this is some bull right here. You? Now, I'm not saying people don't change. People could change. People could change all the time. But overnight, when they change agencies, now they political left-wing people. Now they liberals. When did this happen? See? This is what I'm saying. You guys have got to wake up. You got to wake up. Because they're out here making a mockery of you. They want your dollars. That's all. Jay might not realize it now, but he's definitely damaged his brand. He's definitely damaged his brand. He doesn't see it now because he's looking at the big financial picture. Wealth. And he's thinking, I'm a part owner. I'm going to have wealth. Nah, he's going to have a percentage. Not a large one. Not anything that will generate change. Jay will not be in charge of hiring and firing. No. Roc Nation won't be in charge of hiring and firing. That's an illusion. Get that out your minds. Now, with that being said, the NFL already was told in an investigation with Colin Kaepernick that they were looking for someone to be the face, the Charleston Heston situation, like he did for the unions for the firearms. Once they put Charleston Heston as the face, they had a whole new outlook from the people who were against him, and people mostly embraced him. Right? Now, they were looking for a black that was on their side to get this done. And they tried to use Jenkins to be the voice of reason. And Eric Reed shut that down right away, as he was part of the group. And he kind of broke off from the group and went in another direction as they went to make a deal with the NFL. So Jenkins, showed it the blunt of the blame for how this process went. Now, to only make it right, he would have to have Cap come out and be cool. Cap wants to play again. And if anything short of that, well, what does that say? And not because Cap is one of the greatest football players ever in history. That's not the case. The fact that he was snatched out and blackballed out of the league, and the league knows it, for a social issue, for social injustice. The social injustice happened right there. Being snatched out of the league because of his political views. Not because of his ability on the field, but because of his political views. Which is part of the social injustice. So when you partner with someone who's still applying those things, that's part of a problem. Now, if you done a deal with the NFL and you said, well, I'll come over, but Cap, first things first, Cap and Eric Reed, this thing got to get resolved first. They have to come back. That's one of the stipulations I have. Cap has to get hired. Eric Reed back in the league. Let their play dictate should they be in the NFL. Then we can come talking about a deal. Because now you're talking about, we can't talk about this is going to help social injustice when you're letting a social injustice happen right under your nose, and talking about, well, he just wanted to bring attention. That's all. Yeah, he wanted his job gone. And it's like, well, you got to sacrifice your job. Some people have sacrificed, and you're basically saying that's okay. What do you mean? Well, some people, they sacrifice it all. He knew that was on the table when he did it. And that's okay with you? You see, that's what I'm talking about. Social injustice. And right there, and then they condemning it. Well, he knew he was sacrificing his job. He sacrificed it and put it on the line because that's what he wanted to do to move forward. Said, I cannot even do this. I have to take that sacrifice. And your repayment of that sacrifice is to say, well, I was on you. I got to get mine. See? See what I'm talking about? Now, that's just one way to look at it. But I'm glad Rosenberg and Stephen A. Smith, who should be listening to this video all the way through, is getting informed. Why didn't you bring up the Miami owner who's backing Trump? The NFL is okay with good old Stephen hosting a fundraiser for Donald Trump. Right on the heels of that, they masked that up with Jay-Z and Rock Nation signing this deal. Because they didn't want to get the backlash from Trump And Steven, why are y'all doing this and allowing Trump? So the NFL is basically saying they're okay with Trump. Someone who's divisive. This guy's divisive. But, we're going to work with the other side too. So we got a guy that's divisive, and then we're talking unity over here. It's disgusting. Completely disgusting, because as the owner of the Miami Dolphins, you want that attached to representing a presidential candidate's fundraiser who's known as being divisive. Way to go, NFL. Now, everything else is going on. They're taking the attention away from what this thing is supposed to be about anyway. Football. This is supposed to be about football, ladies and gentlemen. The National Football League. We can't even get there. We can't even get to the doggone game. We can't talk about training camps. We're talking about all political views and issues that's going on outside of the sport. And what do you think that's going to do to players that's on the team? Because all the players on the team come from different backgrounds, different races, different nationalities, different beliefs, and they're all on one team, and they're all selling out to try to win, because that's what's important. Now they have to worry about all these social issues and see how it affects them and how ticked off they are about the situation. And that's going on in the locker rooms. You think it don't? It do. And you know what happened with the white players? The white players, they kind of agree with Trump a little bit. Some of them do, but they're afraid to say, well, I don't want to really put myself totally over there, because my friends, they're Trump supporters, and a lot of them out there, and I don't want them to think I'm going left. I'm a Republican. So now you got political conversations happening in the locker rooms about social issues. Brothers like to express themselves loudly in the locker room. Man, you see this bull? Yeah, you see Jay-Z? Yeah, they think like we do. They think like regular people. Not everybody's a superstar in the NFL. These are players. They have families. They in the hood. They don't like Trump. A lot of them don't. A lot of people are divided in the locker rooms over this situation. We've seen this thing derail the Pittsburgh Steelers. The whole thing derailed them, because some people didn't feel a certain way. But as a team, they all took a vote to do something, and another player chose to do what he wanted to do. Ticked off the rest of the team. But social issues became the common thing in the NFL, taking the attention away from the field. Now, ignoring the problem is never going to fix the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot ignore the problem and say it's going to get better if we just ignore it. No, it will not get better. Okay? Stop believing nonsense. Things are not going to improve just because you want it to. You have to make that improvement. That has to be on you. 100% on you. Nobody else can do it but you. So when Stephen A. Smith addressed these issues, I hope he brings these things up. I hope he explains all of these things that have transpired with the NFL, Jay-Z's involvement. Now they're going to say, well, Jay-Z dug that well. Remember that years ago, Jay did that? Jay put up all this money. He freed Meek Mill from jail. He did this Free Meek movement. He did all of these things. Did you think Jay-Z did all this out the kindness of his heart? Just like Charlemagne the God? Just like Jigga Man Jay-Z? These people have an agenda. Always believe it. Why? Because you've never seen them do these things in the past, and you've never seen them show real empathy. You've never seen it. Jay has not resulted any real empathy at all. Not even to Beyonce. I've never really seen him show any type of real affection at all. He's not known for having affection. He's known for being in one lane and one lane only. In 1 year, Charlemagne went to telling all the dirtiest, nastiest things on radio and television, shock jock, all these different things. Then he went from that to the next year, he's cleaning up his image and talking political and all of these different things. But he's an agenda-based guy. And Rosenberg, I understand you guys have relationships that you're trying to hold on to at Hot 97 because people got to come up there and you got to do business with this man. So your radio station depends on you being friends with Jay-Z. Just eliminate yourself from the conversation before you start talking crazy. Don't blame Jay. Yes, we blaming Jay. Who else we gonna blame? The nameless people at Rock Nation? If Jay wants to put his face on it, Jay's gonna take the blame for it. Nobody was saying this when Jay was doing all these things and helping people out and donating money. Just because people throw money at something doesn't mean they give a damn. Some people want a tax write-off. That's the only reason they're doing it. Kim Kardashian put her name on help freeing some people who were wrongly accused. When these people who were working on the case for years working to free these people, all their work was omitted. And they were like, man, it's like we did nothing. Even though it was our work, the person was going to get freed anyway. But now we got Kim Kardashian and got it on TMZ. Now it's got worldwide attention. It's going to speed the process up. And it's going to help her build whatever crap she's trying to build into. She's trying to change her image as just being looked at as a girl who like slept with a bunch of people and athletes and entertainers. So, once again, do you want to believe that? It's just so people could say, look at my resume. Look at what I've done. People who really care and really have empathy, they don't hold record on what they've done. There's people that have done work that you have to research to find out what they've done. They've been so hands-on, they care about the actual results than getting fame from the results. That's real work being done. Jay wants you to know what he's done. Jay wants to know he put out this documentary talking about this subject. Jay wants to know he's wearing African beads now. He wants you to see him with this nappy looking fro. He wants you to see that, yo, I'm just like you, but I'm rich. Jay wants you to know this is where I'm going. Now, would I trust Jay-Z with my future? Hell no. And I mean my future, meaning me, my kids, and doing what's best to improve social injustice. We will see what will happen and what will come from what Jay's going to do. But do not think athletics is the way to generalizing wealth. That's the fastest way. Entertainment and athletics. It's the fastest way to make some money and lose it all, give it all back. Does not mean wealth. The percentages show out of all African Americans, less than 10% are wealthy after they get through playing sports. In the NFL, it's even worse. You're looking at 5% of African Americans in the NFL have a very comfortable life after playing. And their shelf life is 5 years. 5 years. So you come into the league at 22, 23 years of age. By 27, you're basically retired. The NFL had the worst contracts in sports. In sports. But yet, do you know what we do? We push for that. Why? Because they have the longest vacation. You're off from January to like August. After January, you can do what you want. You can party for months. And then when August hit, time to go back to work. So please spare us your disdain and your fake outrages. Now, check this. Dissension within the ranks. Yeah, it's dissension going on within the ranks. Yep. You thought it was sweet. You thought they were play pimping. Rihanna ain't standing by this. J. Cole, he's trying not to tick Jay off and trying to express himself at the same time. Even Nas has something to say. Nobody's standing with Jay. And today I'm going to a place where a bunch of people that helped Kanye West's career and a lot of other artists. I'm going to meet up with them today. A bunch of powerful black men who in real estate everywhere. We're going to have a party at a mansion. That's today. So you won't be seeing Carcino too much today because I'll be doing that. And when I'm doing that, this conversation will be brought to the table because, most of these guys in fraternities, frat brothers, they looking out for each other. Masons are going to be there. It's going to be a big event where we'll get to express this conversation. And you know me, I'm not too shy on words. So we will address that even further. So Stephen A., pick a lane. Which one you gonna be in? Because first you were all about getting Cap a job. It was all about Cap getting a job. And Jay-Z opened his mouth now was like, well, it wasn't about Cap getting a job. Well, which one was it? Pick a lane, stay in it, and be in that lane. Okay? That's the thing, Stephen A. You're in a lane, pick that lane, and stay in it. That's all I'm saying to you on that. And don't forget, guys, you guys can donate to the page. Hit the Cash App up. The name's Carcino on the Cash App. And definitely click the link in the description box. Hit the Streamlab up. If you want to get involved in the live chat discussion, leave your number. We'll call you and actually tell me the topic you would like to get involved in. Because you want NBA or one of these topics, please suggest it in the in the message board in the Streamlab, because those are the ones I read. Now, as we move forward, let's address Cap. Colin Kaepernick. Dun, 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 dun. As I've told you guys since 2016 when this news hit, what did I tell you guys about Colin Kaepernick? That I did not sit with Kaepernick. I don't sit with him because he did not take a knee. He sat. He sat down in protest, right? I did not believe him when he made that statement. I don't believe it when he says it now. Because this was never his goal. He wanted to draw attention to get traded from the San Francisco 49ers. He wanted to force a trade. That is the reason why he took that seat. And that was the reason why all of this happened. He started taking the knee after he was approached and had a conversation by a injured war veteran from the Army or the Marines, but the Armed Forces, one of them. At the meeting and having a discussion with him, he decided he would just take a knee instead of sitting down completely. So, to show you how insane it is, you go to a game, when they do the national anthem, people don't even stand. Half of these people are at concession stands. They're going to the bathroom. They're doing what they want to do. Why? Because it's their God-given right. Now, I told you about this. I don't believe in Cap's movement at all, because there's no movement to me at all. All it was is a bunch of liberals taking advantage of what Cap did and got all that attention. They wanted to capitalize off of it, and they did. They spun it to gold. They told him don't say nothing. He didn't say nothing. He played ball, kept his mouth shut, got a Nike deal, became the face of black people, wearing a black leather coat, putting up his gloves, had a bunch of people buy in. Buy in. See, I never swayed. I've always stayed the same because I give you facts. I tell you guys, go research. Go see before Cap took that seat. What was Kaepernick's situation with the 49ers? What was his situation, period? Go back before that. That's when you get your truth. You get your truth, but people don't go back that far. They go back to when he took the knee and took the seat or whatever and start from there. And that's why you guys will never figure out what in the world's going on. Now, when these things happened and he became that face, I told you the reason why I didn't stand with Kaepernick. The reason why I didn't stand with his so-called movement. I don't stand with him or Jay because they both are not looking out for our interests as people. Do you understand that? I hope you do. Cap had never posted anything about Trayvon Martin. He never posted anything about Brown. He never mentioned any of it on Twitter. Not one retweet, not one I'm sorry, I'm saddened by this, nothing. And then all of a sudden he's taking a knee. He said, I was just thinking, which way could I best express this? Totally BS. So of course I'm not going to back that because I'm smarter than this. I understand what people are doing and I understand how things are being played. Now, we move even more further into this story, right? Now, when they're doing all of these deeds, all of a sudden he's passing out turkeys and book bags and having drives, and I have all these celebrities and other athletes who are really buying into this. Now they're risking their careers and everything else believing in this system. Now, I did not side with the NFL. I sided with facts. If you're going to do a protest and you want to call it a protest, you cannot be on someone's property and do so. That is the reason a business takes place. You've seen a boycott. You've seen a protest. You cannot be on the property. You're outside the gates of the property. You cannot be on it. So why was it okay for Cap to protest on the field? He's at his job. They send him a check. The NFL sends Cap a check. So you think they're going to pay you to be sitting down on the job on national TV? No. If you want to protest, you go and hold a press conference. You would have had the same amount of attention, and you could have had that press conference outside the stadium, off the property, and said, this is the protest. I'm calling the other athletes in the NFL. Come join me. We're going to sit up here and we're definitely going to put a protest out here so they could know and pay attention to what it is that we're doing. We're bringing attention to police brutality. Do it that way if it was a real protest. But that wasn't what the design was for. That's why it wasn't organized. That's why it wasn't a protest. It was an act that he did that they spun into a fever pitch to try to promote an agenda and a goal that the liberals were trying to accomplish. I hope this common sense barrier hits you guys. If you guys actually made it to the 40-minute mark, I'm sorry, I had to get it all out. I was mad because I'm mad at people for not being smart enough to see past the lies and look at the reality of situations. It's like you guys are smarter than this. I know they try to brainwash you. I'm not speaking to 18-year-olds. I'm hoping they get it. I'm hoping an 18-year-old listen to this and understand it, because they grew up in an Xbox internet era. So to them, everything is digitalized and all of this technology. So their brains are all screwed up from it. Us, we are entirely different. We're wired different. We think different. We eat different. This is a whole different movement. So what we need to do as people is maintain the fort. We have to keep educating and take people away from the agendas that they try to promote through the news, through television, everywhere. You know, everybody's selling you something, selling you an idea. I'm selling you to think. Think for yourself. Quit trying to find somebody to be a leader. I am not trying to be your leader. I'm trying to teach you all to be individual leaders, leaders of your own household, leaders of your own mind. Learn to think. They've taken that ability from you, and it has not helped you in any way, shape, or form. They're trying to do the thinking for you and want you to basically delegate any decisions to somebody else to do, when you know it's your job to take care of. So get it done. That's all I could tell you. It's Carcino. I'm out. Thank you for listening this long. I appreciate the love and support. I definitely want to see you guys in the Cash App. See the name so I can shout you out and give you your credit on the next video. Harold, I saw you. Definitely give the rest of you guys credit. Streamlab, you guys too. Give you guys your credit when you guys donate to the page. That's all that matters, believe me. So definitely do that, and we'll definitely take care of it. I'm out.